What if everything you've been searching for, clarity, strength, balance, was already flowing silently within you? What if the answers were not hidden in books, trends, or other people's routines, but coded in something as fundamental as your blood? From the moment you entered this world, your body began speaking to you, not with words, but with signals, with energy, with patterns. Yet most people never learn to listen. They try to force their way to success, health, and peace, unaware that they are pushing against their own nature. Your blood type is not just a medical classification. It is a message, a compass, a blueprint left by nature, designed to show you how to move, how to eat, how to rest, and how to live in alignment with your true self. It does not lie, it does not change to please others, and it does not argue. It simply reveals, if you are ready to observe, this is not about limitation, it's about liberation. Because the moment you begin to align your choices with the truth already written within you, everything changes. The struggle fades, the confusion lifts, and what remains is the path, not to become someone else, but to fully become who you were always meant to be. Within each of us flows a river, unseen but essential. This river does more than sustain life. It holds the ancient wisdom of your design. This river is your blood, and encoded within its structure is your type, a silent but unwavering truth about who you are. Many walk through life trying to find themselves by searching outward. They adopt trends, absorb advice, and mimic others, hoping to discover the key to well-being, strength, and peace. But truth does not come from copying. The truth is not something you acquire. It is something you uncover, and your blood type is one of the first truths life gives you. Before the world teaches you who to be, before habits are formed or ideas are conditioned into your mind, your blood already carries instructions. It is your blueprint, it is your foundation, and no matter how far you may drift, it quietly holds your essence intact. It does not change with your goals, your beliefs, or your moods. It remains steady. That is why it does not lie. There is great power in understanding that your blood type is not merely a scientific label for transfusions or medical emergencies. It is a map. It describes not only how your body reacts, but how it prefers to function, how it thrives, how it heals. And this is where many people miss the deeper understanding, because we live in a world that encourages us to generalize. One size fits all, one diet for all, one method for all. But the body is not a machine built by a single manufacturer. It is a living system that responds to its specific design. If you begin to observe this deeply, you will notice patterns. People with different blood types often exhibit different energies, different emotional thresholds, different digestive strengths, and different levels of physical endurance. And when you begin to align your lifestyle with these patterns, something profound begins to shift. Resistance disappears. The struggle you once felt with food, energy, sleep, or focus begins to fade, not because life has become easier, but because you have stopped going against your nature. You have stopped forcing and started flowing. This is what it means to live with awareness. Many people train their bodies through repetition, thinking that more effort will lead to more growth. But if your effort is misaligned, it only deepens your frustration. Just like a sword that is not properly tempered will break under pressure. A person who does not understand their inner structure will eventually collapse under the weight of their own misunderstanding. To live wisely, you must understand your foundation, and the blood type is a powerful key to that foundation. Let us reflect on this more deeply. When you eat in harmony with your blood type, your digestion improves. Your body no longer has to fight unnecessary battles. It is no longer wasting energy on what it sees as foreign. It is being supported, not sabotaged. When you train according to your blood type's tendencies, whether that means more intensity, more fluidity, or more recovery, you move in rhythm with yourself. You stop comparing your pace with others. You begin to trust your natural cycle. When you observe how your emotional reactions may be influenced by your internal chemistry, by how your body processes stress, adapts to challenges, or recovers from hardship, you begin to respond with wisdom, not impulse. You begin to master yourself. This is not mystical thinking. It is disciplined observation. It is training the eye to see deeper, training the mind to think clearly, and training the body to act in harmony with its truth. The reason most people feel stuck is not because they lack strength. It is because they are using their strength in the wrong direction. They are pushing against the grain of their own nature, and so they burn out. They lose motivation, they doubt themselves. But the moment you begin to follow your design, your blood becomes an ally. Your effort begins to yield results. Not because you are working harder, but because you are no longer working against yourself. Your blood type in this way is not your limitation. It is your guide, but guides are only useful if you are willing to follow. You must be humble enough to observe, patient enough to learn, and disciplined enough to align. This path requires effort, but it is not the effort of force. It is the effort of refinement. Just as a craftsman polishes a stone until it reveals its true shape, so too must you polish your awareness until you can live according to your true nature. There is no need to fear your uniqueness. You were never meant to be like anyone else. You were meant to be whole in yourself, and the journey toward that wholeness begins not in chasing what is outside, but in studying what is already within. When you truly understand that your blood type does not lie, a shift takes place in your perception. You no longer waste time chasing shortcuts. You begin to invest your energy into learning how to truly nourish yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally. You stop reacting to life and begin responding with intention. And this is the foundation of all transformation. You are not here to guess. You are here to know. And what your blood already knows, your mind must learn to understand. This is the way forward. This is the way of the one who seeks truth, not on the surface, but at the root. When we speak of truth, we must be precise. There is a truth that changes and a truth that remains. The mind changes, emotions fluctuate, opinions come and go, but the body, it holds a truth that does not bend to thought or feeling. It simply is. Among the deepest of these physical truths is your blood type, and from it arises a profound understanding. Nature does not lie. We live in a world where masks are worn every day. People adjust their speech to please others. They shape their behavior to fit in. They suppress their instincts to meet expectations. But the blood continues to flow unchanged. It does not perform for others. It does not adapt to fashion. It does not compromise. In this way, your blood type is the most honest part of you. It does not speak in words, but it reveals everything through function. How you process food, how you respond to stress, how your immune system behaves, how your metabolism reacts. It is the biological fingerprint of your existence, untouched by social conditioning. There is no confusion in nature. The tree grows upward, the river flows downward. The tiger does not pretend to be a bird. The eagle does not try to swim like a fish. Nature expresses itself without hesitation. And so does your blood type. It expresses a natural integrity that does not require validation. It simply operates silently and consistently within you. People often chase health in strange ways. They try dozens of diets, follow the latest trends, and repeat what others do. But what works for one body may not work for another. This is not a matter of preference. It is a matter of biological compatibility. Just as a key must match the lock, so must your lifestyle match your inner structure. That structure begins with the integrity of your blood type. Integrity means wholeness, unbroken truth, harmony between inner nature and outer action. The body, when respected, displays this integrity. When disrespected, through wrong food, wrong habits, wrong environments, it resists. Fatigue, inflammation, illness, these are not random events, they are signals. Your body is always honest. It does not pretend. It reacts precisely and consistently based on what you give it. When you eat food that your blood type rejects, your body does not argue. It does not try to negotiate. It simply begins to protect itself. Sometimes that protection is subtle, slight bloating, disturbed sleep, irritability. Sometimes it becomes stronger, joint pain, chronic fatigue, allergic reactions. But in every case, the body is not your enemy. It is telling you, this does not belong to me. And if you listen, you realign. If you ignore, you create disorder. This biological truth extends beyond food. Even your stress response is shaped in part by your blood type. Some types are naturally more reactive. Their nervous systems trigger faster. Their cortisol rises sharply under pressure. Others are calmer, more adaptable, more stable in high-stress environments. Neither is better. Both have strengths, but to know your tendency is to know how to train wisely, to push the reactive mind to calm, to stimulate the sluggish energy into movement. This is not philosophy. This is self-understanding rooted in nature. We often speak of discipline as if it is purely a mental effort, but true discipline is first biological alignment. You cannot discipline a body that is in a constant state of conflict. A car with the wrong fuel will not reach the destination, no matter how skilled the driver. Likewise, when your blood is burdened by incompatible inputs, your mind must fight harder. It becomes tired, distracted, and unfocused, not from weakness, but from working against its own biology. Nature, when observed, teaches a silent lesson, a line before effort. Birds do not fly by force. They fly by using the wind. Fish do not swim through pressure. They move with the current. The disciplined individual does not succeed by fighting their body, but by understanding it, respecting it, and using its nature as a foundation for movement. Your blood type is your inner wind, your internal current. Ignore it, and your path becomes full of resistance. Honor it, and your journey becomes fluid. This is the hidden wisdom inside the biological truth. And this is where integrity meets transformation. When people hear the word integrity, they often think of morals or ethics, but in nature, integrity is not about right or wrong. It is about consistency and harmony. The seed becomes the tree only if its conditions are right. The mountain remains unmoved because its foundation is aligned with gravity. The same principle applies to you. When your behavior, food, and habits are in integrity with your inner design, you become strong. You become stable. You begin to grow in the right direction, not by force, but by alignment. This is not about control. It is about wisdom. The person who tries to control their life through willpower alone will always be at war. The person who learns how their body was built and moves accordingly finds peace. That peace is not passive, it is powerful, because it is rooted in something deeper than effort. It is rooted in nature's law, the law of biological integrity. So we do not need to invent new truths. We only need to listen to the one that already exists within us. Your blood type, like the direction of a compass, is a reference point, not a rule to obey blindly, but a signal to observe with attention. When you ignore that signal, you create distortion. When you follow it, you create clarity. Your body has no interest in trends. It does not care for opinions. It only recognizes balance, and balance begins with understanding the nature of your blood. This understanding is not the end of the path. It is the beginning. It is the door through which effort becomes wisdom, action becomes aligned, and discipline becomes effortless. Your blood type reflects the integrity of nature itself, constant, clear, and always telling the truth. Energy is not a concept. It is a direct experience. You feel it in the body, in the breath, in the stillness, and in the motion. It shapes your posture, your presence, and even your thoughts. And yet few realize that energy is not random. It follows patterns. It responds to design. One of the most intimate aspects of that design is your blood type. Not all energies are the same. Some rise like fire, quick, intense, impulsive. Others move like water, steady, adaptive, fluid. Some ground like earth, slow, rooted, resistant to change, and others behave like air, light, scattered, quick to rise and fall. Your blood type governs how energy enters your body, how it is stored, how it is used, and how it is recovered. Understanding this is not about belief, it is about observation. Quiet, consistent observation over time. We live in a world that often forces sameness. One training style for all, one lifestyle for all, one nutritional system for all. But the body does not obey general rules. It follows its own logic. The same food that gives one person vitality may cause another fatigue. The same workout that builds one body may break another. This is not weakness or failure. It is misalignment of energy. Each blood type has its own rhythm, its own energetic fingerprint. And when you begin to notice it, you begin to notice how life responds to you. How you feel after certain meals, how your energy fluctuates throughout the day, how quickly you recover from exertion or stress. These are not trivial observations. They are the foundation of self-mastery. Some blood types are naturally more resilient to stress. They endure longer under pressure, but may also be slower to release emotional tension. Others react quickly, releasing emotional energy with equal speed, but are more sensitive to disruption. One type may thrive in calm repetition. Another requires challenge and variety. When these patterns are not honored, imbalance occurs. It begins subtly, mood swings, poor sleep, irritability, but over time it builds. The body becomes drained. The mind becomes restless. The spirit becomes unmotivated. This is why energetic compatibility is not optional. It is essential. When your choices align with your blood's natural rhythm, energy flows. Resistance dissolves. You no longer have to force discipline. You no longer have to chase motivation. Your system supports you, not hinders you. Most people try to create change by willpower alone, but willpower is limited. It cannot sustain what the body resists. If the foods you eat create internal friction, your energy will drop no matter how strong your intention. If the movement you practice goes against your natural endurance or temperament, you will struggle. Not because you lack strength, but because you lack resonance. Harmony is not about perfection. It is about alignment. When a musician tunes an instrument, they do not force the string. They adjust until the string vibrates with clarity. The same principle applies to the human being. You cannot force energy to flow. You can only remove what blocks it. And often, the blockage comes from habits that are not meant for you. To begin the process of energetic alignment, the first step is observation. Not through books, but through direct experience. Begin to pay attention. Which foods make your breath slower and deeper? Which cause it to become shallow and restless? Which environments calm your nervous system and which agitate it? Which forms of movement energize you without leaving you depleted? This is the kind of self-inquiry that cannot be borrowed. It must be earned through presence. The more you watch yourself, the more patterns reveal themselves. You start to see that your energy is not just physical. It is emotional, mental, even spiritual. And it all begins with how your biology receives the world around you. Your blood type sets the tone for that reception. It influences the type of immune responses you have. It determines how efficiently your body absorbs nutrients. It shapes your relationship with adrenaline, with rest, and even with other people. Some types thrive in solitude, needing space to recharge. Others need social engagement, interaction, expression. Knowing this helps you move in accordance with your nature, not against it. You begin to realize that fatigue is not the enemy, it is the teacher. It arrives when you are out of tune. It shows you what is not working. If your energy crashes after eating, there is something to learn. If your motivation disappears after training, your body is giving feedback. Most ignore these messages and continue pushing. But pushing harder in the wrong direction only leads further away from balance. To walk the path of harmony, you must develop the discipline of alignment. Not more pressure, not more control, but more listening, more awareness, more respect for the internal signals that arise from your energetic design. The more aligned you become with your type, the more effortless your actions feel. You wake up with clarity, you train with focus, you recover with ease. This is not because life is easier, it is because your energy is not being wasted on friction. You are no longer fighting your own nature. True strength arises when energy is free to move without resistance. This is the quiet power of compatibility, not dramatic, not loud, but steady, deep, enduring. Energy flows where truth is honored. And your blood type carries a truth so ancient, so personal, that when you learn to align with it, you begin to walk in harmony with life itself. The body becomes your ally, the mind becomes your tool, and the energy that once scattered in all directions becomes focused, powerful, and purposeful. Mastery does not begin with strength, it begins with understanding. Before you can overcome the world, you must learn how to stop struggling against yourself. This is where the journey truly starts. Not with discipline or motivation, but with alignment. And alignment is only possible when you recognize that the key to unlocking your true potential is hidden in your own blood. Many try to transform themselves by force. They train harder, sleep less, eat stricter, push beyond limits. But effort without understanding leads only to exhaustion, like pushing a locked door with all your might, unaware that the key is already in your hand. Your blood type is that key. It holds silent instructions about how your body wants to function, how it heals, how it builds, and how it breaks. When you begin to follow these instructions, you step into a different kind of strength. A quiet strength, a strength that does not come from pressure, but from precision. Your habits, your emotions, your thought patterns. These are not disconnected from your biology. They are shaped by it. They emerge from it, and when you live in opposition to your design, friction appears. You feel tired without cause. You react emotionally without reason. You lose clarity. You fight your own system unknowingly. This is not weakness. This is misalignment. To align is to listen, to observe, to live according to the rhythm already present within you. The food you eat, the way you move, the way you breathe, these are all tools. But tools must be used correctly. Not every body thrives on the same routine. Not every system recovers the same way. Your blood type reveals whether you need intensity or fluidity, silence or stimulation, structure or spontaneity. And once you begin to observe these tendencies, your choices change, not out of discipline, but out of intelligence. Look at the tree. It does not force itself to grow. It simply follows the laws of nature. The sun, the water, the soil, they do not motivate it, they nourish it. That is the difference. Effort that is aligned becomes nourishment. Effort that is misaligned becomes stress. The same applies to your life. If you try to adopt someone else's methods without understanding your own system, you may see temporary results, but not lasting growth. True transformation is not achieved through imitation. It is achieved through integration, when what you do matches who you are. This is the path to mastery, not doing more, but doing what is right for your nature. When your actions support your biology, the mind becomes clear. When your habits support your structure, the emotions become calm. When your choices respect your inner code, the spirit becomes stable. From this stability comes strength, not the kind of strength that shouts, but the kind that endures. It does not seek attention. It does not need applause. It simply is. That strength comes when you are no longer trying to fix yourself, but finally learning how to support yourself. To support yourself, you must first see yourself clearly. You must study your responses. What calms you? What drains you? What gives you sustainable energy, not temporary highs? This is not guesswork. It is daily practice. The body is always speaking, but most do not listen. They label the signals as problems instead of reading them as information. When you eat something and feel bloated, it is not a random discomfort. It is your system saying, "This is not mine." When your energy crashes after certain routines, it is your body asking for a different path. Your blood carries this wisdom. It responds instantly, honestly, without confusion. To master your habits, master your response. And to master your response, begin with your foundation. Your blood is not just a substance. It is the rhythm of your being. When you respect its rhythm, everything flows easier. When you ignore it, everything requires extra force. You may ask, why does this matter? Because your daily choices shape your future. And your daily choices are either aligned with your nature or working against it. There is no neutral ground. Each choice either nourishes or depletes. Each habit either harmonizes or disrupts. So if you truly seek peace, clarity, and progress, it must begin with the truth that was given to you from the start, your inner design. This design is not here to limit you. It is here to guide you. When a river flows within its banks, it is powerful. When it spills beyond, it loses direction. The same applies to your efforts. When your actions are guided by your natural structure, they become focused, steady, and effective. Discipline is not a fight. It is a form of agreement. When the body agrees with the mind, discipline becomes ease. When there is conflict between them, discipline becomes suffering. And most people are suffering because they are working hard in the wrong direction. The one who masters himself does not look for external answers. He learns the language of his body. He trains his mind to listen. He aligns his habits with his inner structure. From this place, effort becomes powerful. Action becomes intelligent, and progress becomes inevitable. If your habits are not supporting your design, then no amount of motivation will save you. Motivation fades, but alignment sustains. You must not ask, what is popular? You must ask, what is right for me? That answer is already flowing through you. It is in the breath, the pulse, the blood. It is not hidden, but it does require awareness. Once you learn to move in harmony with that truth, life begins to shift. Not because the outside changes, but because your inner resistance is gone. You are no longer swimming against your own current. You are no longer trying to become someone else. You are simply allowing your nature to express itself fully. This is the real path, quiet, personal, disciplined, built not on force but on understanding. This is how mastery begins, not through pressure, but through profound alignment with what has always been within you. There is a point in every journey where the path turns inward. No more chasing, no more comparison, no more looking for answers in the faces of others. It becomes clear. What you are seeking is already inside of you. But to find it, you must stop running from yourself. You must begin to listen. And one of the deepest truths already within you is found in your blood. The blood does not change with trends. It does not shift according to emotions or outer noise. It simply flows, constant, steady, honest. It is the carrier of life, of memory, of essence. Within it lies a design that does not lie, a map to your temperament, your physical resilience, your emotional balance, and your energetic rhythm. This design is not just a detail, it is a compass, and it always points back to one place, your true self. In the search for growth, most people begin by adding more effort, more routines, more strategies. But growth is not always an addition. It is often found in removal of what is not you, removal of what was borrowed, copied, or blindly followed. Only then can what is true begin to shine. This is the power of aligning your choices with your blood, because in doing so, you are not trying to become someone else. You are returning to your natural state. When you align your life with the wisdom of your blood type, you begin to live in a state of harmony that cannot be faked. The body no longer fights itself, the mind no longer feels lost, the emotions no longer rise like storms without cause. Everything becomes clearer, more precise, more peaceful, not because life becomes easier, but because you have stopped creating unnecessary resistance within yourself. There is something very grounding about discovering that you do not need to change who you are. You only need to understand who you are, and that understanding must go deeper than surface behavior. It must touch the roots, your biology, your energy, your core. Your blood holds that core truth, and when you begin to align your eating, your movement, your rest, and your thinking with it, something powerful happens. You begin to feel whole, not perfect, but whole. And from this wholeness comes a very stable form of power, not loud, not aggressive, but unshakable. So many people exhaust themselves trying to fix what is not broken. They blame their low energy, their mood swings, their confusion on weakness, laziness, or lack of will. But often it is not the spirit that is weak. It is the system that is out of alignment. The fuel is wrong, the rhythm is off, the guidance is missing, and without knowing it, they push themselves further away from their center, believing that harder means better. But effort without awareness is wasted motion. The person who aligns with their blood is not trying to perform. They are trying to remember the natural intelligence that already exists within. And that remembrance becomes the foundation for a different kind of life. A life not driven by pressure, but by presence. You begin to notice what truly nourishes you, what strengthens your system, what calms your nerves, what gives you the most sustainable energy, not bursts followed by crashes, but a consistent, steady flame. You start to make choices not from guilt or pressure, but from clarity. You no longer force discipline. You grow into it naturally because it fits you, because it feels like you. And that kind of discipline does not fade. It becomes part of your identity. There is a wordless confidence that grows when you stop lying to yourself. When your food supports your digestion, when your movement supports your vitality, when your relationships support your nervous system, when your thinking supports your truth. This is not luxury. This is your birthright. But to claim that birthright, you must begin with honesty. And the most honest place to begin is not in your mind, but in your blood. Because your blood has no ego. It does not protect stories. It does not justify mistakes. It simply reflects reality. And in this way, it becomes your most reliable guide. Some people search their whole lives for wisdom from outside sources, teachers, systems, ideas. But the body has been whispering the truth since the beginning. It tells you when something is wrong. It tells you when something is right. The only question is whether you will listen. The act of listening is a form of respect. And when you begin to respect your inner design, life begins to respect you back. You make fewer mistakes. You waste less time. You experience less internal chaos. And even when difficulties arise, as they always will, you face them from a place of inner unity, not division. This is not about becoming someone new. It is about becoming deeply familiar with who you already are, and your blood type is a key to that familiarity. It shows you how to train, how to eat, how to rest, and how to work with the energies you were born with. It does not make things effortless, but it makes them meaningful, because now every effort is in the right direction. There is great freedom in this way of living. Freedom from doubt, freedom from comparison, freedom from confusion. You stop asking, "What should I do?" and start asking, "What feels aligned with who I am?" The difference between those two questions is the difference between chaos and clarity. You do not need to guess. You do not need to follow blindly. You already have the map within you. The body is the guide. The blood is the compass. And when you start walking in that direction, step by step, you begin to live in harmony with the self you were always meant to be. When the mind becomes still and the body is listened to, the truth reveals itself, not through noise, but through clarity. The message has always been within you, carried silently through your blood. It is not a theory, not a belief, but a living truth. Your blood type does not lie because nature itself does not lie. It reflects your unique rhythm, your strengths, your challenges, and your path toward harmony. Mastery begins the moment you stop resisting your design and start aligning with it. When you follow the wisdom written in your veins, you no longer need to force transformation, because your life becomes a reflection of your true nature. Choose awareness over imitation. Choose alignment over struggle. Choose to walk in harmony with yourself, for in doing so, you unlock the greatest power of all, the ability to live fully, truthfully, and peacefully in your own skin. Thank you for walking this path of understanding with presence and sincerity. May your journey be guided by clarity, strengthened by discipline, and supported by inner peace. Good luck in all that you pursue, and remember, the answers you seek have always been flowing within you.